Hello there, people. My name is Sho, and welcome to an episode of Game Things. Let us start off the episode with Little Nightmares 3. And boy, is this a game that I enjoy playing. While I've only played the first Little Nightmares, I believe the franchise follow a similar, atmospheric, dark adventure with some interesting puzzles to solve. This is probably the only spooky game that I would recommend playing, even to those who has a weak heart when it comes to the jump scare slash horror light genre. Don't know if this actually makes sense, but to me, this game is spooky but at the same time beautiful. While waiting for Little Nightmares 3, which is expected to release in year 2024 on most of the major platforms, consider checking out the 80 minutes long 2-player co-op gameplay with the link provided down below. Next on the list, we have an 18 minutes long gameplay on the upcoming Avatar Frontiers of Pandora, which is expected to release on December 7th this year. As a guy that did not watch the Avatar movie, I would still love to try out the game. I could imagine people who had an attachment to the IP would definitely love to give the game a shot. The goods about the game, it is first person, you have air combat, you have mounts, there's exploration, controlling outposts, the list goes on. And the only downside, Ubisoft. Ubisoft is involved in the development and publishing of the game, and that alone is enough for me to remain cautiously optimistic about this game. Moving on, remember the slim version of PlayStation 5? It appears that the optional disk drive will require an internet connection for its pairing to the console, albeit only during your first time setting it up. I'm not very well informed as to why this is a thing, but simply browsing through the internet kinda gives you a rough idea. All in all, it is a one-off, so I don't think it is anything to be worried of, but it would leave a bad taste in the mouth if one were to bring along your newly bought PS5 Slim and disk drive to a remote place only to find out that internet coverage is required for your initial setup, so definitely keep that in mind. Lots of teasers on the upcoming games as we are getting close towards the end of 2023, so let's just quickly touch on a few of them. Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater had a short teaser on what the game could possibly look like with the use of Unreal Engine 5. My honest opinion, despite the fact that it is still just an in-development footage slash teaser, I hope the frame rate isn't going to be under 60 frames per second. To me, I find games that run lower than 60 frames per second to be neither acceptable nor an enjoyable experience, not when they are on PC especially. But if we're talking about consoles, then yeah, I guess they are still dancing between the lines, especially for the newer title releases on the console sides. Also, another 3 minutes trailer, Still Wakes the Deep, is a story-rich, psychological horror sci-fi experience that takes place in 1975 at Beira oil rig off the coast of Scotland when a disaster strikes. Navigate your way through the collapsing platforms, save your crew, and find your way to safety. This game is expected to release on PC, Xbox Game Pass, Xbox Series in the year 2024. As for game delays, Destiny 2, the Final Shape expansion, which was aimed to release in February 2024, will now be pushed back to June 2024. And so is the upcoming reboot from Bungie. In case you forgot about it, it is called Marathon, a first-person shooter that was first released back in December 1994 for the Apple's Macintosh, which will probably only be out in year 2025 and onwards. Not surprising when you have also seen the news this week whereby Bungie had to downsize by laying off a portion of their workforce. Always a bummer to see people go like that, but this is the capitalism world we're living in, and all we can do is to embrace it. Last on the list, we have Skull and Bones, an upcoming action-adventure game that focuses on the pirate theme with shooter gameplay. Yet again, delayed for more than the number of fingers I have on one hand, and is targeting an early 2024 release. Of course, there's more depth to the game to talk about, like the story, lol, resources, cargo, factions, etc. But come on, this is Ubisoft. As usual, Ubisoft game always looks promising, but please proceed with caution, boys. And that 0.01% finally watching this, we are all about gender equality here. Coming to the game releases of this week, check out Alien Hominid Invasion, an online co-op multiplayer PvE roguelike whereby you can play with up to 4 of your alien friends and invade Earth together on various difficulty level and modifiers to make each of your playthrough a little more fun. Alien Hominid Invasion is released on Xbox One, Xbox Series, Nintendo Switch, and PC on November 1st, 2023. Then we have RoboCop Rogue City. Honestly, what else is there to say? You are half human, half robot, and also a cop. So do your part, fulfill your duty, get out and deliver your justice as RoboCop Rogue City releases on the PlayStation 5, Xbox Series, Nintendo Switch, and PC on November 2nd, 2023. Moving on, the Talos Principle 2. I remember playing the first game and oh my god, that game really fires up your brain. And this new entry will be a treat to those who just don't know how to give up. A ton of explorations, lots of thought-provoking puzzles awaits you as the Talos Principle 2 releases on PlayStation 5, Xbox Series, and PC also on November 2nd. Finally, we have a much casual game released this week. It is WarioWare Move It on the Nintendo Switch, made available on November 3rd. Can't say much about a franchise that I've never tried myself, but this is a party video game after all, so I expect lots of mini games that supports local play and or online multiplayer. And now let's move on to the free games of this week. On the Epic Games Store, Turnip Boy commits tax evasion. Don't get fooled by its cutesy 2D pixel graphics, you are here to avoid paying taxes. In-game, of course. And tear down the ever-corrupted vegetable government. Also, just quick mention for this month's Prime Gaming, Rage 2 Deluxe Edition is being added to the lineup, and if you are into the arcade-style roguelike shooter, the Recharge series is also here, which includes Centipede Recharge, Black Widow Recharge, and Caverns of Mars Recharge. You also have turn-based game The Dungeon of Nihilbook, The Amulet of Chaos, which I believe was also given out as a free game on the Epic Games Store previously. There are many more free games and in-game rewards for a Prime Gaming subscriber, so if you have one, do check the benefits weekly. And with that marks the end of this week's episode of Game Things. Consider giving this video a like if you find it helpful, subscribe and click on the bell to receive notifications whenever we have a new upload here on YouTube.